Riot has recently dropped a new patch and it's time to have one champion completely take over the entire game again, and you already know how it's gonna be, but let's start with the Baron lane. First up, we have Rumble here. Rumble is the pick of the patch in the Baron lane. He can play into any matchup, can survive every single matchup, can farm from rage with a third ability, scales brutally, has percentage HP damage, has everything you desire. This champion is absolutely nuts in that position. Closely followed after is Gnar, a triple flex champion. You can pick him in the mid lane, in the jungle, and as well in the Baron lane, making this champion unbelievably OP. Another champion that is an absolute lane neutralizer that forces the enemy to not play or go full scaling is Warwick. This champion, if you trade into him, will make you automatically lose. So if you play into Warwick, just don't play. That's exactly what you have to do. Other champions that are very good in the Baron lane are, for example, Jax Fiora and even Renekton. Renekton has received a few buffs now, and if the enemy is not really that well informed about how Renekton works, then Renekton will snowball and yeah, you have big trouble similar to Warwick. One of the big things about Renekton is the engage range with the second combo with the third ability. That makes it very difficult for you to survive if you do not understand how this ability works, and especially if he pairs up with the jungle, you'll probably get Dove on cooldown unless you've played it Steel Caps as a rush item. As per usual, what you see in the S tier is usually the meta. Everything below is not played or shouldn't be played, or you should stay away from it, or it's counter pick only territory. An honorable mention though here is going to be Vayne and obviously Teemo. These two champions can be very well executed in the Baron lane and scale with your skill level and understanding of matchups. But you have to be really careful because they're super fragile when it comes to getting ganked because of the itemization forces them to build certain damage items and are not really that easily built into tank. Whereas Varus can, if he truly wants to, just go full tank from the get-go and it doesn't really matter too much as he can transition into damage a little bit later on. And please don't pick champions in the B tier, you'll just suffer. For the tank tier, we have Ornn as the best champion here. Super high impact, super easy to play, as per usual. A champion who's risen in power in this list now is going to be Shen. Due to the durability patch and overall experience with the champion, I think he's gotten better. The percentage damage really helps with this champion in the Baron lane into most matchups, but we have to keep in mind that we are playing into a meta in which anti-shielding is going to be built every single game you play, making this champion not as efficient. Because let's be honest, every single game you play is an anti-shielding and anti-healing game. As for the A tier, you know how it goes, counter pick or don't pick territory. The same goes for the B tier, which in this case is going to be empty. And if you're tired of overspending for everything, Discord Nitro, be it TFT coins, be it anything, be it wild cards, be it skins, check out my partners in the description below, the Zoo Shop. You'll be there and you will never want to leave again when it comes to getting things cheaper. Just don't forget to use code KERKS and your life is going to be wonderful because you can afford more skins for less money. Now back to the tier list. For the jungle, we have Riven as the pick of the patch. Ambassador has been nerfed, but honestly, Ambassador's gameplay loop is still the same. This champion is still overloaded with how she plays. Cleanse still doesn't work into her ult because you have to do it preemptively and it's very difficult, near impossible from Fog of War, and this champion's damage is still very insane. On the bright side, her clear is a little bit slow, but this champion is still very powerful. Other jungle champions that are within the S tier are similarly as powerful or more powerful. As you see, S tier is basically the meta, what is very good, and anything in the A tier should not be picked, or let's just briefly talk about, for example, Nyla and the lovely Kayle champion. Due to how the game works and how people play the game and how they not punish you at all, these champions get away with everything in the jungle, getting away with murder. It's very easy to say these champions are OP due to the win rate, but it's in fact not true. The thing is, Nyla starts becoming OP once she has items. Up until then, she is not really doing anything. The problem with the jungle role and how to counter jungles is people need to understand how the game works, not only from a jungle perspective, but also from a laner's perspective. Because punishing jungle is not a one-man's job, it's a team job, and that is the biggest problem. This makes Nyla and Kayle seem way better than they truly are, and you have to keep that in mind when you see them and their respective win rate. But yeah, generally speaking, pick anything that's within the S tier and you're good to go. For the tanks, we have Amumu as the best tank, closely followed by Shen, Rammus, and all these other champions within the S tier. As I said, the S tier is the meta and anything below is going to be weaker or less consistent, but if you're interested in the tank tier, you can pick Nunu every game, you can pick Volibear every game, Shen, it doesn't matter, but please do me a favor, don't be a Volibear player that rushes Heartsteel in the jungle. That is utter griefing. For the mid lane, we have Syndra as the best available mage, being super annoying, super versatile, and super high damage, just a very broken champion. Morgana as a good counter pick, generally very good, because all you have to do is farm free waves, recall, get your boots, and your life is wonderful. Don't fall for the bait people who tell you to go Ludens first or anything, or just rush it before boots. Just go for your boots, it's the third wave, you just don't miss a single minion, and you have the boots, and you can do whatever you want, and you can actually influence the map, rather than being a stationary AFK champion. Zoe scales with skill, Heimerdinger is not allowed to max his turrets or skill them level 1 or level 2, then he's a very good champion. Aurelion Sol is very good if you understand the champion, and every other champion within the S tier is overall a very good and solid pick. An underrated pick that is going to be in the A tier is going to be Zyra. Every other champion has clear issues with how they play and how they play into other champions or how they fit into the meta. And B tier champions are super inconsistent. They can be fun, and obviously if you're one trick you can more than play them, it will work sometimes, especially in low elo brackets. But let's be honest, high elo doesn't exist in WildRift, so technically speaking you can get away with it every single game due to your stats and how matchmaking works. But overall, from trying to be objective here, the B tier champions are really weak compared to the S tier champions in terms of damage output, reliability, how often you can get fed in mid lane, how you can play lane, etc, etc. For the assassins in the mid lane, here's something quite interesting. So Echo has been nerfed for the jungle department, but it has nothing to do with how he plays in the mid lane. Echo still has the ability to just use 2 first abilities to clear the first wave and then invade other champions. For example, if you're facing a Nyla as an Echo, you can clear the first mid lane wave and just invade the Nyla and completely mess up her entire early game because she can't defend herself, which is one of the things people refuse to do into jungle matchups. For the other assassins, for example in the S tier, Zed is a lot better in the jungle than he is in mid lane, but he's obviously still being able to be played mid lane. Kassadin is a solid pick mid lane, hard to punish because people need to understand wave and jungle needs to play to punish this champion. And for Pyke, this champion roams around the map constantly, similar to Ahri. The biggest problem is within the A tier. Talon simply lacks damage, Diana mid lane simply lacks reliability, Katarina is probably the by far best champion within the A tier, probably close to being S tier, and Fizz really doesn't hit the mark currently. Because all you have to do as a mid laner is rush Crown and Fizz literally can't play into you. It's completely worthless, unfortunately. As for the other tier, right, is going to be a very funny company once again. We have one champion completely topping the charts with Corki. After his rework, he released quote-unquote underpowered with a few bugs here and there due to them releasing Corki with the wrong stats, but now he's literally claiming the throne above everyone, getting very close to Varus territory. You can say that you can pick him, you can pick Varus, these champions are basically insane as to what they're doing, and Corki currently is an absolute monster. I don't know when they'll nerf him, they should definitely do so, because this champion does way too much damage. As per usual, within the S tier you can pick anything of these champions, but keep in mind, Teemo for example is going to be a counter pick, or at least a late pick. You don't want to blind pick Teemo into a mage that is just hitting you from Narnia. That is going to be so much pain. As for the A tier, champions that are less consistent or a lot weaker, you can still pick Tristana to this day, but she is weaker than she was before. There's one placement though, about which I'm not quite certain right now. It's going to be Aurelia within the S tier. Honestly, after the nerfs, Aurelia could go down to the A tier or close to the border, because she should still be able to kill the mages, because she overkilled them by so much, but it's going to be so much more difficult now, I think. So it needs to be more time, more time needs to pass for an accurate placement of Aurelia, but keep that in mind. I just want to inform you that I think Aurelia will be closer leaning to the A tier than she is within the S tier. For the AD carries, Corki is by far the best, you know how it goes. As for other champions, Misfortune can nullify every lane, Tristana scales, Saya is insane into enemy engage, Sivir just wave clears and scales 3 items is the dream, Varus is an absolute powerhouse of doing everything, Kai'Sa loses every single lane in the game, but it doesn't matter because this champion magically scales into a wonder house because it's WildRift, and once she has one item she just kills you because, well, if you make a mistake she just absolutely runs you down. Lucian scales with your skill and preferably with a duo, Zeri scales to level 5 with ult and level 7 for max Q points, and then it's just item items. Ezreal skates better now, does even more damage, and especially with the zombie war tech, you're going to go crazy. Okay, now that we've dealt with the meta, let's talk about the A tier. Okay, Draven and Duo Q AD carry, perfect. Samira and Duo Q AD carry, perfect. Nyla into specific drafts like Braum, Yasuo, Jax on enemy team like heavy auto attack instead of short range, Nyla is going to be a beautiful pick. Jhin, enemy is squishy. Honestly, Caitlyn should never even be in the A tier, but I'll still keep it because Caitlyn is a pea shooter. This champion is utterly worthless, unfortunately. And the same applies to Jinx, and Ashe is way better of an AD carry due to her utility. Any other champion within the B tier, just way weaker, stay away from them unless you play duo. For example, Vayne Lulu still works, but Vayne Lulu is a lot weaker than any other Lulu combination. But if you enjoy playing Vayne, hey, you will have success because you have a Lulu, so don't worry. It's still WildRift, so you can enjoy yourself, but trying to be consistent, Vayne is not going to be a pick you want to play. For the mages in the AD carry lane, we have Ziggs as the best available pick. As you see, nothing changed here from the last list to this list, so I'll just skip this part. Do yourself a favor, watch it, pause it here. If you have any questions about the placements as to why, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I'll try to respond to a few and try to make you understand why I feel this way and why my lists are so different than from other people, but maybe we can come to like some common ground. And now for the last part, the support list. For the engage supports, we still have Nautilus as the by far best champion. This champion does everything you want, is super tanky and an absolute powerhouse, closely followed by Ornn. Jarvan is picked into low mobility, for example if the enemy team doesn't have dashes, doesn't have blinks like Ezreal shift or anything along these lines, then Jarvan is going to be an absolute monster in this game. Keep in mind, Blitzcrank is only a pick if you pick it into enchanters, immobile enchanters that are very annoying to deal with. Outside of that, Blitzcrank is not going to provide you with anything. He's just going to make you lose games because if he hooks a tank champion, you just lose immediately. For the Protect tier, we have Milio as the most annoying champion, specifically with the Lucian interaction. Nami as the most powerful enchanter when it comes to proactivity. Soraka is the most powerful support in terms of reactivity or being AFK, just pressing W on cooldown. Yuumi voiding every lane, making it impossible to do anything in. Braum completely denying enemy engage. Lulu giving you the hyperscaling power and the damage to completely crush lane. Seraphine pretty good into enemy all in. Other champions within the A tier, for example, Janna is also good into all in, but a lot weaker than Seraphine because she lacks the damage and she can't even choose who he wants to shield. Sona, pretty decent into all in, but again has a terrible laning phase. Still, I believe maybe Janna is now better than Sona, but I don't really like seeing these champions. You can call it a personal bias, but I don't think they do anything and shouldn't even be taken serious, because, well, they're merely spectators. As for the carry tier, we have Karma as the highest priority pick. Don't play tank Karma, don't grieve yourself. If you want to play a tank engage champion. Don't play tank Karma. As for the other damage champions, everything within the S tier, peak performance. Pyke map pressure, Ashe arrowing around end lane pressure, Zara one-shotting you if you make a mistake, Senna absolutely demolishing you, having multiple builds that she can just go into, having all the access to all utility items, anti-healing, anti-shielding, literally everything, and Heimer as well as Lux just have insane damage and setup depending on what you're looking for. And that marks the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and leave a comment to boost the algorithm. Leave a like as well, and if you are not liking the video, leave a dislike to just showcase that you are a little, little rebel or something. Anyway, don't forget about the cheaper skins in the description below with the Zoo shop. You can also get cheaper Nitro on Discord, like literally everything. Just check out the shop there and ask them what you can get. Don't forget to use code KIRKS and life will be wonderfully cheap. As per usual, have a wonderful day and see you soon.